immensely ambitious, a monster.
The range of Beethoven is fundamental to the greatness of his art. The degree to which every single work is different from every other. It has been said often about Beethoven that every work inhabits a sound world of its own. And yet he could write a 50-minute work all in that one sound world is perhaps fundamental to his greatness.
I've always been considering this symphony very complex, probably too complex for me to approach. But when I studied very carefully, I just took a serious amount of time, I learned it, I discovered such a power in composing and such a precision in saying, in writing what he wanted to say. So to find the right words, the right notes to say what he wanted, what he meant. And now, today I'm here, I'm considering at least the first movement of Eroica as the best written first movement of any symphony. Is so masterly written. The power of Marcia Funebre, the Trauer March, is incredible, is so deep, is so moving. Even when comes the midsection with this fugato, this fuga, and when the energy is just growing, till a limit probably before Beethoven no one could achieve.
Beethoven's Third Symphony is significant not only musically, but historically. Beethoven was inspired by the French Revolution, liberty, equality, and fraternity, and by the rise of a fellow genius. Napoleon Bonaparte had crushed the Austrians in battle, but an uneasy truce now reigned. Beethoven could safely name his new symphony Bonaparte.
Beethoven may well have felt, as did a lot of people at the time, that this military conquest was not primarily military, but primarily a philosophical and political, a social revolution, and that the result would be not the Viennese finding themselves under the thumb of another dictator, but the Viennese being set free to pursue enlightened goals.
It's an interesting question whether Beethoven would have written such explosive music as he sometimes did without the prompting from world events at the time. Beethoven was intensely interested in the events in Paris in 1789. He knew people at the French embassy in Vienna and heard a lot about what was going on in Paris. He was very excited by the idea of a new world, new world order, brotherhood of man, getting rid of the bad parts of the old aristocratic world, which of course he still lived. But when Napoleon became a dictator and crowned himself, he was horrified.
This is the famous score of the Eroica Symphony, in which Beethoven furiously scratched out, you can see the hole in the paper, the word Bonaparte, to whom the symphony was originally dedicated. And when Napoleon proclaimed himself emperor, Beethoven decided he would have no more to do with him.
On its premiere in 1805, he'd renamed it Eroica, the Heroic Symphony.
If somebody mentioned Napoleon, he would say, well, he may be the ruler of the world, but mine is the empire of the mind.